our number one priority as county commissioners in all 67s across this 67 counties in this Commonwealth is 911 funding. That's voted bipartisan, apolitical, and one of the key things that we need. We haven't had a funding increase since 2015-16, and in 2024 in January, it sunsets. So this is critical to every single resident in our Commonwealth and also every visitor in our Commonwealth. And I always think, and I always say, 911, every resident has that opportunity to call and use it. And last night we got a big snowstorm in Venango County, and on my way across, I was sitting there thinking, if something happens to me on Interstate 80, I can pick up and down 911 and someone will answer. If I was on the side of the road and I called my mom, my friend, or anyone else, they might not answer. But 911 does answer. They answer 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that little piece of funding that we're asking for, everything else in your life has gone up. But your first response, your public safety funding has not. And that's why this is critical for every resident of Pennsylvania to get that funding. So we just had a tour and she hit on staffing issues. And I'll just say it, they're 28 people short. Venango County a year or two ago, our staffing levels have increased, but we were at critical needs where we were gonna almost have to close down our center and dispatch calls out of another county. How does that benefit my residents? This funding helps support that and helps make that happen. And I'll tell you a couple opportunities/examples of what these individuals deal with day in and day out. A very close friend of mine who was a 911 dispatcher, Mary Beth White. She passed away tragically from an extended illness, but when she was a dispatcher, her brother was in a house fire. She was on the desk that day, and that fire took his life. But she didn't go to the scene, she didn't go anywhere. She stayed behind that desk and answered that call because she knew the best place she could be was helping him give the resources to everyone on that scene to help save him, which tragically didn't happen. But that's what they do. When you pick up the phone and call, they're there to provide you the resources. After Mary Beth's passing, I talked to a couple local police chiefs, and one was Chief of Police in Polk Borough. He said to me, Chip, every time I was on the radio in rural Western Pennsylvania by myself at night, and I queued up my radio and I heard Mary Beth, I knew I was safe. I knew I was okay because if something happened to me by myself, she would get those resources I need. She was that person that no one sees. She was that person behind a desk on that phone that was reliable whenever it was needed. And that struck me pretty strongly is that's what's there. You have a group of angels sitting in a room at every given moment is there to help you and give you the resources you need. And one other example, which we partnered with the co-op, Mr. Boffman created a protective services class at our VOTEC. We co-opted with him, we got a couple individuals out of that program. One young lady graduated high school, and in her second month on the job, or third month on the job, she got dispatched out, an individual pregnant and going into labor. She delivered that baby from behind the desk while they were waiting for first response to get there. These are those angels. She delivered that baby from her microphone at dispatch. These are what they do day in and day out. So when we talk about funding, the reason we need this funding is to give them the resources and the tools they need because everyone's life is at stake. You don't call 911 and they don't ask you if you're a Republican or a Democrat. They ask you what your emergency is. They don't care. First response does not care what political parties we are, but what we need is to have the funding to help give them the tools, the opportunities, and the responsibilities so we can be better and we can help those individuals in their time of crisis.